Right, let's bring you this now. 3 Golden Arrow buses have been set alight this morning around Cape Town with a number of passengers injured. This as taxi commuters are being forced to find alternative modes of transport today. 2,000 taxi operators affiliated with Qatar and Codeta are currently on strike. Now they march into the office of the Western Cape Premier to present a set of grievances. Those visuals are coming in live there. As you can see, stones being thrown at people and a woman particularly, as you can see at this point, that man throwing that stone. There our reporter Nobesuthu Hedjana will be joining us, of course, quite soon to take us through these visuals. But what you're seeing there, this taxi as well, which has been stopped, and I saw a cameraman there passing through what looked like that taxi that has been deformed just in front of the taxi. As you can see, the strike still continuing there, the protest continuing in Cape Town. It seems commuters at this stage are still stranded at this point, trying to get to the bottom of exactly what is going on there, with more than 2,000 taxi operators currently marching to the Western Cape Premier's office to relay their grievances to the Premier. Now, with that being said, I mean, we saw one particular taxi there, being stationary, but 3 Golden Arrow buses at this point also being set alight during this march, we understand. And trying to get to the bottom of this is us trying to get to Nobesuthu Hedjana, our reporter, trying to give us clarity on what exactly is happening in Cape Town as we see those live visuals taking place in Cape Town. Nobesuthu, I understand that you are with us at this point. Take us through what we're seeing in front of us. The grievances from these Cape Town taxi commuters. What do they include? Nobesuthu, can you hear me? Nobesuthu Hedjana, this is Tumelo speaking. If you can hear me, please take us through the visuals that we're seeing there, but also what informs this protest. I understand that taxi operators are marching to the Western Cape Premier's office this morning.
Hi, Tumelo. We're currently on the N2 here in Cape Town. Behind me, you can see a convoy of taxis. They're heading to town where they're expected to submit their memorandum of demands to the office of the Premier. In just a few minutes, I'm not sure if you're able to see those visuals. One taxi was stopped, and some of the passengers were also taken out of that vehicle. And they did promise earlier that there would be no distractions to traffic, but we've seen a number of intimidations, especially to the My City buses. We also know from Golden Arrow that 3 of their buses were set alight this morning in Nyanga, and as well as Grievances in Blukombos. But currently we're seeing these visuals where the convoy is heading to town, and you can see that this taxi, it's one of the taxi that was the windows were broken, and the taxi drivers, they went inside to ask the driver who was not supposed to be operating this morning because of this protest or strike, but unfortunately his vehicle was caught during all of this. I'm trying to see if I can try and speak to some of these taxi drivers. Tata, can we speak to you guys about the protest or the strike? Ngathetha no Tata about this strike senzeka namhlanje.
Okay, inkosi ndaseka masibulele kakhulu. Istrike asisesinke sikuso. Sesebhembethe ukuphonda kwemoto ezikandabeni ubona sishwala indlela sisenza ngohlobo sibheka phandle.
Ebekhe kwathiwa bana okanye besikhona isigqibo sokuba akuzokoyikiswa mhlawumbe imoto ezisezimotweni, kodwa siyabona ngoku ukhona le taxi ithe yabethwa kwahliswa nabakhweli kunye nebhasi yakwa My City.
Hayi ke sisi asiyazi lento ngoba siphaya emva ebheka asifikelele kwezinto asizibona. Njaba siyazibona ngoku silapha lento aziyo. Sibe siyifumana into bana yanyenzeka nto asizazi bakwenzeka kanjani sisi.
Anizimisi imoto eziqhubayo.
Akumiswa moto sisi, akubethwa ntoni, kuyahanjwa sebenza siya kuyo. Le into ndiqinisele
le taxi yona ibethwe ngoba
ngabantu abaphuma kwezindlu aba benza ayenza umuntu umonakala unje ayisuki konoteksi lonto leyo asinazo isigqibo sithi konoteksi makumoshwe sihamba selendawo siya kuyo asimoshe asibethi into silungisa umsebenzi lo ngehleba silungise ngalo
uGolden Arrow uthi kuchiswe ibhasi zabezintathu namhlanje enyanga naseBlukombosi ninalo ulwazi lolonto
ngamabonge sisi akalahlahla la ngoba kule ndawo sihamba kuyo ngoku uyabona uba siyama sibheka ngapha ngoku asikaboni imoto ishiswe kule ndawo sihamba kuyothina ngakho umthetho bese uyale ngalo sihamba kwalahlobe sihamba ngalo siyade siyofika singakhange kuphathwe into le into ngabantwana baphuma kwilokisho singaphandle mabangathi kabethe bayichaphazele onoteksi abastrike babeyithi imoto sisi
Sibulele Tatamu Tumelo, that was one taxi driver who is denying all of this, but we did see them breaking these windows, and he's also denying the information that was sent out by Golden Arrow that their buses were set alight. He's saying that it's not the taxi drivers, but it's the residents of the nearby areas. But they are protesting against the permits as well as their taxis being impounded. They are expected to hand over a memorandum at about 11:30 this morning to the office of the Premier, and we will be continuing following this particular strike.
Yeah, before I let you go, Nobesuthu, I just want to ask you about the intimidation on the road, because before we spoke, we did see a man throwing what looked like a stone or an object to a woman. I'm assuming perhaps she was one of the taxi commuters. That was quite worrisome, especially when you spoke about the intimidation faced there in that vandalized taxi. How is the police presence there? Are they monitoring the situation during this protest?
Well, Tumela, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see at the back. I'll just move just to show you what is happening here. We are seeing quite a number of police contingency around, but the problem is whenever these taxi drivers spot a vehicle that has commuters, they quickly block the area, and one or two taxi drivers will go and find out what is happening, and that will be the order. But the police and the traffic officials are well at the back, so we are unable to, they are unable to sort of like engage with them, but we've seen them intimidating quite a number of people. I'm just going to try and speak to this gentleman. Sir, if you allow your time, can I speak to you quickly? Can I speak to you, sir, about what is happening? All right. So many of the people are here are refusing to speak to us. Tata Sungateta now? Okay, these are the taxi owners of this particular taxi, and they are also refusing to speak. I mean, it's understandable. No one would want to comment about what has happened, fearing for their lives or fearing to be intimidated by the taxi drivers who are currently on strike. But the police and the traffic officials have just arrived here to assess what is happening here. They are going to be speaking to the gentleman, the owner of this particular taxi, and find out how much damage has been caused due to this. But when taxi drivers do stop a vehicle, the police or the officials are not on site, as I've showed you before that they were traveling at the back of this particular protest. But we know that strike has already left this area, and the convoy is already heading to town.
All right, Nobesuthu, we'll have to leave it there. Of course, as we're seeing police presence around the taxi that was vandalized. Their documents, what looks like papers, even on the floor. But of course, the marching protesters already moving past that taxi. They say they're making their way to the Western Cape Premier's office, of course, to lay down some of their demands and their grievances. We'll be sure to cross to Nobesuthu as soon as there are other developments around the story.